lies, shenanigans. Truth, 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 lies, shenanigans.
Oh yeah!
Shenanigans. Truth, lies, 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 shenanigans.
Oh yeah! Shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, Oh yeah.
Lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Lies, shenanigans. Truth, 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 lies, shenanigans.
Oh yeah.
Lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans.
Hey friends, welcome to Truth, Lies, and Shenanigans, the live show for Sunday, August 31st, 2020. My name is Neo, and I'll be trying to make some sense of all the shenanigans going on today. My co-host for today's show is Lizzie.
Hello, everyone. Happy Funday, Funday. Glad to have you with us today.
Below me, we have Z.
See, girl.
Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday.
In
Good
the
to see
opposite,
everybody.
in the opposite corner, we have Jam.
Hey, everybody.
It's silly. All right, today's show, we have all hot topics today. Today we'll be remembering the Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman. Also, NBA players consult with Obama, and Gaffigan rains a tweet storm on Trump. Remember, we're live everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, and now you can watch us live, the live feed at truthliveshenanigans.com. As always, we love it when you join in the conversation. You can comment in any of those live feeds. We'll be listening and incorporating your comments and questions live. All right, guys. So, time to check in. It's been a tough week again, so I'm gonna check in with you. How's everybody doing, Z?
I'm not doing well, to be honest.
Really?
I'm hitting a wall. I'm finding it difficult to absorb all of this news every day with no light in sight. It's been hard. This week was hard, you know. So that's how I am. I'm glad to see you guys. I want to talk.
Okay, good.
Welcome.
Jam, how are you?
Man, what can I say without racking up some money to you, fellas? You know, it hasn't been as bad as a week as last week predicted it would be. But I have to say, when I heard about Chadwick, like, life stopped for a second, which was weird because as importance levels go, you wouldn't think someone who is an actor would have that much importance in your life. In my opinion, somebody so young. But yeah, we're doing all right.
And
Kids are all right.
we'll talk more about Chadwick in a bit. So Lizzie, what's going on with you?
I survived the first week of school, so I guess, and I'm here to tell about it. So I guess that's a plus. Other than that, I'm just trying to stay COVID free. If you do by chance happen to hear me cough on the show, I don't have the Rona. It's my seasonal allergies. But other than that, I'm doing well. Doing well.
Yeah, definitely stay healthy. As far as me, I'm doing well actually. I mean, I'm a little stressed out. I fell behind on a few things here, so I'm a little stressed out, but otherwise we're good. We're good to go. All right, so now I do have a question for you guys to start things off. All right, we only have 65 days till Election Day. I know everyone here wants Trump out, and most of us I believe all of us are supporting the Kamala ticket. So my question to you guys is, outside of the influence we have through this show, what are you going to do actively to help to get the clown out of office? What are you going to be doing for the next few days? You have 65 days to make it happen. I'm going to start with Jan.
Well, it's sort of easy, sort of hard. There was some stuff you and I had talked about before, and I have a few people who are interested in taking action on that.
What is that?
Who may or may not be watching.
Let's talk about it.
Say again?
What is it?
And so one of the things that we've been discussing is where to help, what state and how to get there. Several people I've discussed with driving and helping out at the polls in spots like West Virginia or Virginia. And so that's sort of where we are right now. That's one of the things I'm going to be doing to increase my reach, because
so getting to the other polls and the other poll locations.
Getting to poll locations where, like in the DC area, it's almost a given that it's going to go Democrat, in my opinion. If that's what you're there for. In other places where it feels less safe to be a person of color, those are the places I'm talking about. North Carolina, Southern Virginia, maybe even reaching up into Pennsylvania or wherever people are. But that's a group I'm trying to activate and become more involved in.
Okay. Z, what are you going to be doing?
That's a good question, and I'm embarrassed to say that I really didn't have much more planned than, promoting this show, because we do talk about the issues every week. Making sure that everybody I know is registered and empowered to vote. I want to get out there and beat the street, but honestly, I'm in New York, and the chances of it going to Trump are slim to none. And this isn't a year for travel and canvassing out of state. So, but if anyone has suggestions, I'm open to it. I'd love to do an old school, I forgot what it was, but like when Rock the Vote was big, and I remember volunteering for phone lines, and people would call in to get issues and information on candidates. So, if there's something like that out there, I would love to.
Okay, Lizzie, what are you planning to do?
I think everything that I'm doing will probably be similar to what Z was saying, in that I'm not really leaving my house. Again, I had my one weekend last weekend where I went out 2 days in a row, and now I'm quarantined again until probably January. But I am teaching remotely every day. I am active with a generation of students. And so even in my classroom, we're talking about issues of voting and what their ideologies are, what their thought process is, and what they can do in their communities. I'm going over the history of voting, not just for Black people, but for Black women with them, and seeing that, at one point in this country, as recently as 1965, Black women in this country did not have full voting rights. And so they need to express that. Most of my students will be voting in their very first election. So I'm keeping the conversations going. I'm keeping, not only just in my classroom, but in class forums with Howard University, but also online, and trying to stamp out all the shenanigans, trying to, just get the word out and get the truth out about what this election means for us in 2020. I think that is the best that I can do, encouraging people to vote, encouraging people to get to the polls, giving them information about their options, whether it be a mail-in vote or what polling stations they have in their neighborhoods. So for me, it's going to be a lot of word of mouth, a lot of using my big mouth for something good.
All right. For me, I think, as Jam said, talking about poll workers is something that we wanted to. It's a big problem because a lot of there are many fewer polls available to vote at simply because people are scared to go out and subject themselves to the coronavirus, which I get, and most of them are older people. Can someone turn off their beeping, whoever that is? But as far as me, what I plan to do is, we created this platform here for that reason. But in addition to that, I feel like I can reach out to individuals through my page, individuals that I see, individuals that I talk to. I'm just going to be talking about it. And every time I talk about something to someone, I'm going to be like, go vote. Don't forget to vote. Make sure you're registered. Go vote. This is going to be like a mantra from me, just to make sure I get people, even if I don't know the person, just go vote. If I have a conversation with you, I'm going to be like, just go vote.
I think
I found these. I was told I needed more masks for my collection because I only had one, and it was getting dirty and a little nasty. And so when I went shopping for masks, one of the masks I picked up was just a vote with a checkbox beside it.
Yeah.
So, little something.
I feel like what Jam was saying is important is that, in the states that we live in, the places we live in, we have a very limited, we can influence people in those states, but it doesn't have a significant impact. We really have to reach out to people in other states, in some of the battleground states, and some of the, even some of the red states. Why not? I have a lot of friends on my page, and I talk about these issues all the time, and I try to share and engage with them. So I figure let's just get out there and get that word out.
Right.
I think also an extension of that too is once we do vote, let's say, for example, we all vote and we vote Trump out of office. That's not the end of the story. We have to hold the new government coming in accountable for the things we've been complaining about for the past 3.5 years, even during the Obama administration and before that. So it's not just this vote. You don't just vote and then sit down and then complain 4 years from now. You have to always be proactive in the democratic process, in the government, in this country, in your neighborhoods, in your cities, in your states. And so the fight just doesn't stop with voting. That's the first step.
And
then after, keep it going.
And don't forget, local politics is important because we also got to get our senators and representatives in office as well. So
and the boundary lines. Don't forget about gerrymandering. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
If you guys are unfamiliar with the topic, it's how the votes are changed depending upon who's in power and how they want to place your vote. I think we talked about it on the early shows, but like there's some crazy looking boundaries that are drawn just to make sure they can group as many of the same type of voters together and de-escalate the power of your vote. So just to be aware, local politics.
All right, guys. Well, if you've never seen our show before, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what our show is. We just got a little taste of that. We'll be sharing our truths and opinions with you, calling out the lies, and pointing out the shenanigans going on, thus Truth Lies Shenanigans. But on this show, we try to have some fun with some shenanigans of our own. But we do have one rule for the hosts: no cussing. So if you're caught cussing,
curse.
No cursing, cussing, whatever you want to call it. There's a $10 penalty if you're caught cussing. And then if you're caught cussing 3 times in the same show, and our viewers do tend to call you out, you will be sending a love letter to Trump.
He wrote me beautiful letters, and they're great letters.
You'll be Jin Kun I messed up his name on purpose. I heard he was. I actually heard he was ill, right?
Remember, he supposedly died back in June,
That's
and
true,
here he
right.
is.
But they resurrected him. Putin got hold of the body, gave him some of that COVID vaccine. Bam, back in business.
As you can see, Lizzie is way in the lead, so no cussing for
Thank
Lizzie.
you so much for pointing that out.
Hey, no problem, Lizzie. That's what I'm here for.
The deal that that lead might not be authentic because the gents on this show aren't all together
Don't listen
truthful.
to her. Don't listen to her.
Cheaters.
Cheat a little bit.
Cheaters.
Hey, Neo, that camera's looking orange. Looks like fake news to me.
It does look a little orange.
That's payback. That's okay. That's okay.
All right, guys. Well, as long as we're all clear on the rules. All right. So today we have an all hot topics show. And if you've never watched the show before, as I said, each of our hosts comes up with a hot topic they want to discuss. They'll tell us about their hot topic, ask a question, we'll start our timer, and the panel will discuss. Once time is up, we'll see Genji.
Genji's back. Woo.
And he'll
Shake
let
your
us know.
shoulders.
He'll let us know when time is up, and then we'll move on to the next host. All right. Please do make sure you're sharing your thoughts, feelings, and questions because we are listening and responding. So let's go ahead and get started with our hot topic.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
So today, we have an important topic to discuss. Our Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, died of cancer at the age of 43, colon cancer. It was a surprise to most of us, all of us. But so we have a tribute to him, and then we'll discuss.
As you can see, I am not dead.
Ah,
Ooh, rest in peace, brother. Rest in
Ah.
peace. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'll turn it over to Lizzie and Jam.
So just to get started again, as Neo mentioned, we lost Chadwick on Friday. At least that's when most of us got the word. It was Friday evening. He died in Los Angeles, California at the age of 43, surrounded by family and loved ones. And for me, Friday was the end of a very long week. Like I said, first day of classes. So I had been napping for a few hours. So, totally shut off from the world. And I think for some reason I woke up and it had been announced like maybe 2 minutes before that. And so I didn't really know what to say other than to scream. That was my first response, first reaction. No effing way. And I then started to think about when they mentioned what he died of. He died of colon cancer, a 4-year battle with colon cancer that most people in the public eye did not know about. And then I started to reflect on, how people were questioning his appearance over the last year and a half, and it just all came together and clicked. And then I immediately got sad, started tearing up as if he were a member of my own family. And I think that comes from not because I felt this connection with celebrities, if you will, but because what he meant and how he inspired so many people in the Black community. From the moment he took his big role in 2013 as Jackie Robinson in 42 until he gave us T'Challa in Black Panther in 2018. I went to see Black Panther in DC by myself and was taken aback by the number of kids that were in the theater, dressed up in their costumes, excited, screaming every time he took the stage, every time he took the screen, and everyone was like this. Everyone was like this. For that year, that was probably the number one costume for young boys, both Black and non-Black, across the country for Halloween.
Yep.
And so, just first and foremost, what did the announcement mean to you guys when you first heard it on Friday? And overall, like, what did his career, how did he inspire you?
I'll start off. So I was shocked. I was completely shocked. I was just blown away. I mean, he's the one thing, and I said this to my wife. I said, there's a lot of actors out there that have played these amazing roles, like a Black Panther. But that's an iconic role at this point. But the thing about Chadwick was he seemed to be a really good dude, like, you see interviews. I didn't know him, obviously, but if you watch his interviews, if you watch, him personally, if you just watch him, he just seemed like a good person. And you can't say that about a lot of actors. A lot of actors have, they play these great personas, but they turn out to not be good people. But he seemed like a really good guy, and it kind of hurt. And I don't know, my niece. I found out my niece when she found out, and she's 6 years old. I think she's 6, yes. And when she found out, she was just bawling uncontrollably. And it's tough. I can't imagine what it's like for kids who, because you kind of Black Panther was like I said, an iconic character for kids, Black kids and stuff. So I'll stop talking. Go ahead. Whoever wants to talk. I feel like I could keep going, so I want to go ahead and let others talk.
But you
I'll
guys,
go because probably I was like, yeah, Jam should probably end. I only really knew him from Black Panther, which was an incredible film, and it was very important to just the community in general to have the representation of a Black superhero, on the big screen. Not that there aren't Black superheroes, but on the big screen. And the first thing I thought when I heard about it was, man, another blow to the community, another blow to the heart of the community. We don't need that. They don't need that right now. And then I thought about, I read his age, and time stood still. I'm 42. He's 43. He was born in 77. I'll be 43 by the end of the year. And I just thought, like, if this was my last year, oh my, like, it was just heartbreaking.
It was
heartbreaking. And to see, and then I looked like Lizzie did, I looked over the last year, like all the things coming out in the news and how he was still working during being sick. He was still visiting children's hospitals, visiting other people with cancer, doing interviews, not speaking on his suffering. Meanwhile, people are just, assuming things, saying nasty things, and it just kind of brought back home. Like, we need to stop doing that. We need to stop making fun of people's suffering, or, we're really going to a very ugly place, and this was kind of like a reminder of that. They're assuming like, oh, he's on drugs or what's wrong with him. The man was dying, and
for his life, fighting for his life.
And people are just, making comments.
Before we move on to Jam, I just want to, because you mentioned people were commenting on his weight loss. He had recently lost a lot of weight. I just want to play the video that they were talking about?
One of the
It's
videos.
April 15th.
One of
It's
them.
Jackie Robinson Day. That's right, it's still Jackie Robinson Day. I can't think of a better time to remember my hero, and he's the hero of many of you out there, than this time that we're in, this pandemic. I can't think of a better way to commemorate everything that he was about than to announce the partnership between Tolco and Figs. If you know, Figs is one of the companies that's the designer and manufacturer of modern medical apparel.
I'm not gonna play the whole thing. So, yeah, and
I just
there were,
also-
like you said, go ahead. See?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say there are other videos, as Lizzie suggested, where because when he was in Black Panther, he was cut. I mean, he looked cut. So he started losing weight over time, and there were a lot of bad comments. But when people saw this, there was a lot. Jam,
But
Oh,
even
wait,
think
can I
of
just
that.
add one?
Let's see.
yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to add one last thing. You know, there's a meme going around Facebook right now where
Is there?
you know, somebody had to tell their child, their 8-year-old child, you know, that he had passed, and the child's response was it the cops? Was it coronavirus? Like, it just hit
And that's an
home, like what our kids are dealing with right now. You know?
And that's an unfortunate sign of the time is because, you know, they see him as children, they see him as a superhero. And so for them to think that not even his superhero powers could do anything against the police in this country, could do anything against the coronavirus in this country speaks volumes. But even to touch, before we get to Jam, even to touch on the superhero aspect, because we know in addition to, you know, playing Black Panther, you know, he was in tons of films. He was in 42, like I said. He was in 21 Bridges. He was in Get On Up, where he played James Brown. He
Excellent
portrayed
performance on both 42 and James Brown. He was excellent.
He played in Marshall, where he represented, you know, Thurgood Marshall. He was most recently in the Spike Lee film, *Da 5 Bloods*. He was in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. So he had a lot of roles that he played over the course of that 4 years when he was suffering. Okay. And even then we didn't know. But as it relates to the superhero, I got into an argument with someone both in 2018 when Black Panther came out and recently since his death on Friday, where people were talking about how they didn't understand why Black people made Black Panther such a big deal. And I just kind of, you know, paused and got really angry because it's like, you know, we can't have anything. We can't celebrate anything. We can't have anything. I mean,
You can't claim anything.
when Christopher Reeves died as Superman, I was crushed. We all grew up on Superman. Love Superman.
Right.
Love a lot of I love Batman. I love Wonder Woman. A lot of superheroes. But they're all white. They don't reflect us. And Black kids deserve the right to have a fantasy and a superhero as well. And even if it's not a legitimate or a realistic superhero. I mean, if you think about Superman, people were talking about Wakanda. Wakanda's not real. Well, Krypton isn't real either. Like, it's fantasy. It's fantasy. And so the fact that, you know, people look at what he played and what he meant to young Black people, young Black youth, little boys who are like, I want to be strong, like a positive figure, like Black Panther is really telling. And the fact that, you know, Z brought up this meme about, you know, the little kid who, you know, was sad and immediately wondering how he died in an American world was just so very telling about what our kids are experiencing now in the United States. Jam?
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. Let me answer your first question. When Chadwick, when I found out he passed, like my wife and I were having a conversation, and we both stopped, and there was just nothing to say for
Right.
I don't know, like 4 or 5 minutes. And you have to understand, Mania pointed it out. If you look behind me, like I literally have the posters from the movie, a blanket, Shuri's first comic, one of the rows of Black Panther graphic novels, I have the picture. You probably can't see it.
I assume
but
you
have-
hated Black Panther then.
It's so terrible. So I have the pictures of all the actors, the women shot from the Essence and the men shot from the Essence magazines hanging up in my room. Like when I was a kid and I used to get money from being a paper boy, I collect comic books. Like my favorite comic book guy was Iron Man because he had such potential, but he was lame. And like there were very few black comics even written. And the ones that were some dicey nonsensory. And I say that because if you're familiar with like Spawn, there's a whole image of black man and bestiality that comes out with Spawn and how they treated his character versus how you treat all the other white characters that you saw in comic books. And so when Black Panther came out, my other cousin started calling me Wakanda because I had this outfit that looks like I don't know if you can see it, but like I have a full outfit that is like
Nice.
the importance. My kids like got some of the toys. My son was like, Shuri is the best. Like the meaning to me, his death in the life that we saw him live was exemplary of what you'd want to see a person live.
Mm-hmm.
And so because we didn't get any of the nastiness, all we got to see was the shining light, and we got to see a prince or a king. And and this is before I keep talking, Black Panther, to speak to your friend specifically, Liz, was the highest so far, has been the highest grossing solo superhero film released to date. Not any Panther, not Pale Panther, not was Gray Panther, Black Panther, right? And so it was the third highest grossing film in the MCU, behind 2 Avengers movies. Like
that he was in. One of them that was in.
Like that was straight beast. And like much respect. So yeah, let me stop talking for a second. Get myself emotionally in tune with the world. But Chadwick, like, woo, man, that's a loss.
Well, just a quick, you brought up Avengers. So as we move forward, in our mourning, what do you think is going to happen to not only his character as it relates to Avengers, because he was in Black Panther, he was in the Avengers series, and I believe he was also in Captain America, correct? Mm-hmm. So he made appearances in all of these movies. How do you think Marvel moves forward with this?
I'll let Jam start.
Okay. So I got into it. I was upset, and I now know why. I hadn't done my research because I'm not as plugged into the social media world. But at the time, about a year ago, I don't know if you guys probably don't remember, there was some hype about him doing Black Panther 2. And I went off on a friend. I was like, thing, and I was like, son of a, we'll see if I ever see another Black Panther movie again, because I thought his character was so effervescent and the movie was so strong. And the choice they have. So my first thought is it's sad that they have to move on, but that is part of all storylines of comic books. That is the introduction of death into the life cycle is something that they help deal with. But their options are, and this also speaks to Captain America's replacement. My boy, whose name totally escapes me right now.
Chris Evans?
Yes. No, sorry. He was. I'll be back. He'll come around. So, but he made a statement that the guy who played the Falcon, he had made a statement to say,
what is his name? Gosh.
The brother.
I forget it.
Yeah, the brother who played
the Falcon. Go ahead. We'll get it for you. Go ahead.
So what he had made a statement, he wanted to see more Black characters in the MCU. One of Iron Man's replacements is a Black person, and so Shuri, being the best inventor in the whole group, is sort of lined up in a perfect world to go to that role. It's very unlikely they'll put her in that role because she'd be taking over for a popular white male character. They will probably, what they were talking about with Disney and what that argument was about with Chadwick had to do with her becoming his replacement for a while. And so,
who is this?
My Shuri, his sister, his sister.
Yes.
So thank you, Anthony Mackie. Thank you so much. But so the question is whether they slot her toward the replacement for the king, or they take her, expand their world, and put her in a place where she belongs, which is super intelligent inventor the new Iron Man. That's how I feel about it.
Okay. Now, before we'll get to Z and myself in a second. I do want to get to some of these comments online while we're talking, and we'll answer that question again. But so Steve Thompson was saying my wife was stunned and sad when she heard Chadwick pass because she too was 39 when diagnosed with colon cancer and couldn't imagine how he had the strength and fortitude to do it the way he did.
Wow.
Like Ade says, Black Panther was a superhero for us. Talk to them, Jam. My Nia, well, you already saw that with all the Black Panther behind Jam. We wanted to hear from Jam. Salai says, such a gut punch. Got so teary breaking the news to my boys. He was a hero to us. Ade says he was fighting for his life and giving his all to us through all of his roles. Because a lot of his roles weren't just his roles were biopics of strong Black people.
Yeah.
James Brown, Jackie Robinson.
And he particularly said that he made it a point to take roles that did not belittle the Black man, that did not promote stereotypes, that did not follow these prejudice tropes. He was very careful in the roles that he decided to take.
Steve
And I think
Thompson
that's
says as
telling.
well.
Yeah, I think that's very telling.
He was a passionate actor, selective in his roles, great actor. Jacqueline Robinson says his sister would become the new Black Panther because that movie was also about female empowerment. Just saying.
Good point, sister.
Absolutely.
So, Z, you wanted to answer the question. Go ahead.
I'm gonna. Jacqueline Robinson might curse me out. Sorry, but what I was saying, I was like, if they could bring Superman back in Justice League when he was dead, why can't they bring back Michael B. Jordan and fulfill his destiny as the next Black Panther?
I mean, technically they could. I mean, I'm sure they can.
Michael B. Jordan.
It's easy with Marvel. Shoot, you can do just about anything. You go back in time and the Infinity Stones and who knows.
I'm saying, how many times has Superman been brought back to life?
It wouldn't be hard to do.
Right.
That's right.
Because it's all fantasy. It's all fantasy. So, you could do anything. The options are endless. And that's one of the good things about fantasy.
Well, my answer to your question is the one thing I don't want to happen is I don't want the character to go away.
Right.
Yes.
Because that's my concern is that I was looking on Twitter and a lot of people on Twitter were saying, hey, how can you even think about Black Panther 2 if Chadwick's not here? And they were beating people down for saying, I can't, I'm looking forward to Black Panther 2. I get it. The timing might have been a little off. But the point being, the one thing I don't want is just because he passed away for us to lose a powerful character like that.
Right.
We may not have another person that can play him as Chadwick was able to do, but Black Panther is passed down, the character can be passed down to someone else in the lineage.
So are you saying in the future, if they continue the character, it could be totally separate from T'Challa?
Yes. Because in the movie you can, what happens is when one passes away, it's passed down to someone in the lineage.
Right.
So it can be someone else. Like, for example, it could be, as Z said, Michael B. Jordan if he were actually alive.
That's why they fight. That's why they fight. All they have to do is bring him from a universe where he was able to stay there and he grew up happy.
That's right. Don't think parallel.
That's a good idea.
All of that stuff.
I think ideally his sister is the best way to go, though.
Nah.
So I still think his sister would be a better Iron Man because Iron Man is one of the smart. I'm just saying.
Listen, can we not forget the sisters, though? Can we not forget the sisters? I like having something to look at. The sister role is very nice. But can I look at some time?
Okay, so you're nominating Michael B. Jordan. I'm saying the fine brother from Bird Box, Trevante Rhodes, bring him on as the next Black Panther. Give him a new name. He's new to Wakanda. Bring it.
Okay.
Bring it.
You know they're building up
Denzel lost son.
They're building up Denzel Washington's son.
And he's short. No, we want a big
I don't know why y'all can't look at the waterfall.
superhero.
Something to look at.
First, I thought you said they were building up Denzel to play the role. I'm like, isn't he a little old? I'm just saying.
But I did want to say about two of both Chadwick's last two roles, or some of the last two roles, The Five Bloods, which is about the Vietnam War, and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which is one of a group of plays by August Wilson that we've seen a little bit of lately. It's a group of plays that, and this Netflix is looking to release Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but that group of plays includes Fences that we did see Denzel Washington in, and also there was another one that came out recently that was also included in that cycle. But that's an excellent cycle to plug into and to pay attention to. Jitney. It was at not the arena stage. Yes, the arena stage. But those are all excellent plays to get familiar with if you want to see the type of work that he was impressed with and that he was involved with.
We need to move on to the next topic, but I just want to go over these last few comments. So Salai says Suri's a better Iron Man, and Baku can be the next Black Panther. Mania says his perseverance and resilience is an example for us all to continue to bless us with his gifts and give back to many communities while fighting cancer in private is mind-blowing. Live your life, y'all. Jacqueline says, hadn't thought of Michael B. Jordan. That would be awesome. Dario Winter said he knew true professionalism, true professionalism and love of craft.
Absolutely.
And Rupka says, we need not only a Black character superhero, but one that is one in real life as well. Like Neo said, just a good actor won't do. So, all right. So to close this one out, I'll just play their. We'll play this this clip.
Grandma's hands clapped in church on Sunday morning. Grandma's hands played the tambourine so well. Grandma's hands used to issue out a warning. She say, "Chad, don't you run so fast. You might fall on a piece of glass. Might be snakes there in that grass." Grandma's hands.
All right now. Rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace.
And Bill Withers, who wrote that.
All right, and he recently died last year, right? Did he die this year or last year?
Earlier this year.
Earlier this
About
year.
2 months.
It's been a horrible year, man. Horrible
It's
year.
been rough.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Actually, let's move on with Z. Z is the Truth Liar Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Well, it's a truth.
It's a Gaffigan Shenanigans.
Yeah. So my topic is Jim Gaffigan, a comedian. You know, he's usually a clean comic. His sets are pretty clean, and he tends to stay away from controversy. On Thursday, I guess, you know, with everything going on in Kenosha and everything, he lost it and just unleashed a set of tweets. Just basically, my favorite one is, "Look, Trumpers, I get it. As a kid, I was a Cubs fan, and I know you stick by your team no matter what, but he's a traitor and a con man who doesn't care about you. Deep down, you know it. I'm sure you enjoy pissing people off, but you know Trump is a liar and a criminal." And this was just one of many tweets, right? And,
Yeah, that was a storm for real.
It really was, you know, and as usual, people came out and did the shut up and tell jokes, you know. You just lost a fan, you know. So it doesn't just stretch into, you know, sports or any, you know, it's basically anybody who has a role as not a politician. People want to jump on them for saying and jump on them for not saying, right? So my question to you guys is, kind of going away from that, is if it were you today, you have millions of dollars, you are a celebrity, you're living in the big mansion, your dreams are coming true, and all of this is going on. Do you use your platform to spread your message, you know, to push your agenda? Why or why not? Yeah, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, let's start with.
Oh, okay. So I think it has now become part of the game to participate politically. Let me rephrase that. I think it's now part of the game, and it is taken politically. Because even when you're a politician and you express your opinion, they're still like, stay in your lane. You do it. It doesn't matter. The world we live in right now isn't about listening. Like the one thing that I think, and I hate to say this, that guy has right when he talks about going back and make America great again, is the way our news system used to be set up, is that when people told lies, and even if you disagreed with them, to the extent that they could face it, they would put the truth out there, and everyone would recognize that a line had been crossed. And we're now in a time where people decide, they draw a line, they jump over the line, they jump back, they say you jumped across the line, and like it's like stupid times. So that's how I feel about it. I think anyone who has the power to express their opinion absolutely should, because that is their God-given right. Period.
Lizzie?
How about you, Lucy? Yeah.
I'll jump in. It's amazing to see, like, if you pay attention to the people who are telling um, celebrities or entertainers, if you will, telling, this guy to shut up and, just tell jokes, telling LeBron to shut up and dribble. A lot of these people are not famous, right? They're just the common man. But do celebrities ever tell them to shut up and be a plumber, to shut up and be a teacher, to shut up and be a chef or a cook or whatever it is you do as your profession? As Jam just said, it not only, I mean, if you believe in God, it's your God-given right, but it's definitely your constitutional right in these United States to voice your opinion, whether you like it or not, especially if it's your own platform. Like, if you don't want to listen to LeBron, if you don't want to listen to Gaffigan, you don't have to. That's your choice. But you don't have the right to tell someone that, okay, we just need you to stay in your lane when it comes to politics. We only want to hear about jokes from you. We only want to hear you talk about stats and the NBA finals and things like that. And then as it relates to the celebrity or the entertainer themselves, I think it's up to you whether, if you feel you want to use your platform to speak out politically, to get behind a cause or whatever, by all means do that. What I don't think we should do is start judging people or ripping people, tearing people down because they choose not to speak out against something publicly. Like now, everything, expect everybody, it's kind of hypocritical because we want them to shut up on this end. But then on the flip side, we want them to get on Twitter right away, get on Instagram right away, and make an announcement.
Consume them. Yep.
Exactly. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, everyone has a right to put their 2 cents in, especially as it relates to politics in this country. But I don't have the right to tell you, okay, well, you just cleaned my house. Stick to cleaning my kitchen. I don't want to hear anything else from you.
Right. I don't recall if anybody told the CEO of Goya to shut up and make spices.
Although he should have been told that.
For me.
See, I agree with Lizzie. I mean, it's people want to consume people on their own terms, and
Right.
if that's not on their terms, they get upset with that, and that's not fair. And looking at the comments online, like Robin Johnson says, I think it's shallow to think that these celebrities don't have thoughts and emotions. You can choose not to support them, but don't silence them, right? And that's what I agree with. I mean, we have our own platform here, so we have our opinions, our thoughts, and things that we want to get across. And this wasn't my first job. This isn't the only thing that I do, but this gives me the opportunity to share with people and tell people truths. That's been our goal. I mean, I know when we started this thing, that was our goal, to kind of bring the truth. Right, it is our truth. I mean, because everybody has a different point of view and a different perspective, so it is our truth. But the important thing is bringing truth, right? So that we're not, because unfortunately, we've spent a bunch of years being lied to our faces, and that frustrated all of us. So that's why we kind of got involved in this project, and it's been a great thing. And for someone to tell me to just shut up and code, because I mean, my career has been in IT. That's no, I have opinions as well.
We even see it a little bit though on our social media platforms, particularly our Facebook page, where we have people who have different opinions than what we do as a group.
Sure.
And I welcome that. We welcome that. Like, it's not just a page, where we just give all total left liberal opinions. We just ask that you be respectful with whatever opinion you post on our page. But there have been people who come on, to our page and who don't believe in anything that we say. And then they accuse us of being something that we're not. They call us racist. They call us white people haters. They call us women, like all of these things. And it's like, no, I just don't agree with your ideology. Right. Plain and simple. And if you don't want to consume the message that we're putting out, you don't have to be a part of the platform. You don't. We want you to be a part and engage and give an alternative view, but you don't really have to be. If this is too much for you, you can't take on Genji. I mean,
that's right. Like, let me tell y'all, that song WAP is too much for me. I don't like it. I change the channel.
You have every right to do that. We're canceling you now.
I don't even like. I don't like Cardi B. Don't respect Cardi B. You could cancel me all you want to.
Girl, join me on the cancel couch.
Jacqueline Robb says, celebrities are also citizens who are engaged in what is going on, just like some athletes still have family members and friends who live in underserved and over-policed communities. Let's see, Maria says, go ahead.
Daria Winter says, some still believe 3/5 of a man. They may mean the voice is 2/5 we are not supposed to have. Do we forget that? Y'all don't forget what they did to Paul Robeson, what they did to Muhammad Ali. Like,
you better, Daria.
And wait, and can I just add, I also mean that for the other side, for the opinions that we don't like the guy who came out from the Red Sox who was like, I didn't think that we should cancel the game. People jumped on him, and the next day he had to apologize. I don't think he should have apologized.
Right.
That was his
it's opinion.
That's it. Yep. He didn't say, hey, fire that N-word. He was just like.
I think the only reason why I think he should have had to apologize if the Red Sox made him apologize, because he's representing the Red Sox.
Them, yeah.
But other than that, like.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. So this is a truth. Okay, so truth, lies, or shenanigans. This is truth. Truth. I'll just go with truth. So the NBA decided following the Jacob Blake shootings and the things going on in Kenosha, Wisconsin, the NBA decided to boycott. NBA players boycotted the playoffs.
Strike.
Okay, strike the playoffs.
Phone call.
There is a nuance there. I get it. All right. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So what happened was the Bucks led off. The Milwaukee Bucks, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, led off the strike. And after there, the Players Association decided to have a meeting, and they decided they wanted to figure out if they wanted to strike the entire playoffs and stop playing altogether. And so what ended up happening is the Players Association reached out to Barack Obama, a couple of players, because they were having a stalemate. And Barack Obama gave some suggestions and advice, and ultimately they decided to continue to play, but of course they requested a bunch of things from the NBA, including a commitment to doing social justice platforms. So my question to you guys is, do you think Barack Obama should have gotten involved in this? And I'll start with Lizzie.
Well, did he reach out to them first, or did they reach out to him first?
They reached out to him.
Then yes, he should have gotten involved in it. And this just goes to what we look for in a president, and the ability to bring the citizens together, to have a civilized conversation, and to de-escalate a situation versus getting on Twitter and calling people names and doing or putting out like 90 inflammatory tweets about, which is what he did last night, talking about Trump. 90 inflammatory tweets about a situation in Portland where someone died. Like, that's not very presidential. They look to Obama as still their leader to help them find the best solution, one that would benefit both the players, the league, and the fans. No one is calling Trump for that type of advice on how to de-escalate something, on how to bring people together. So yeah,
he would have been first on my list personally. I don't know what you're talking about.
I have to disagree with you. Anyone who went to Trump real estate school is calling him for advice.
Hey. Are you trying to see? That's not even fair. You're taking jabs. That's not even right. Taking jabs just because I tried out Trump University and they got me. I get it.
Trump University alumnus here.
Or whatever.
You should be our spotlight guy.
Did you get your Crayola?
Whatever. Answer the question. Do you think Obama should have gotten involved, Jam? Funny guy.
So I think that he was invited in, and he helped him get to the solution. So absolutely, and his real estate school, I will be attending.
Z, what do you think?
I think absolutely. This wasn't a matter of him butting his nose in where it didn't belong. They came to him. He is the negotiator in chief in my book. I mean, like you said, who else would you go to? And he's no longer president. He has a right to say what he wants, speak to whom he wants. He's a lawyer. He can give legal advice. I mean, what's the problem? Yeah.
Well, let me
personally, I think you should have talked to Michelle first. But, hey, whatever.
Let me do a follow-up question then. So, do you guys think that he is a reasonable authority on these type of issues in terms of, black violence, police violence? You think he's what did he do during his tenure that you feel that he is able to speak on these? Lizzie?
I mean, but this wasn't an issue of police violence. Like, he wasn't, giving any directives or advice to any police departments.
It was a matter of advising as to whether or not this was something to end the playoffs on.
Right, which also includes PR, negotiating, and catering to an audience, which all of the things he did as president. And notice that when he gave his advice, again, he didn't make it public.
No,
they did. The league made it public. Mm-hmm. Versus each time, because remember, back when Colin Kaepernick first started his protest back in 2016, and then when the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry said that they weren't going to come to the White House, and when LeBron was making comments, Trump took to Twitter. He never called any of them to have a personal conversation to try to de-escalate the situation. He blew it up and went to Twitter. Whereas Obama had a private conversation. It was like, these are maybe some things that you guys need to think about.
But his spokeswoman did give a statement saying, as an avid basketball fan, President Obama speaks regularly with the players and league officials. When asked, he was happy to provide advice on Wednesday night to a small group of NBA players. So
after they made a statement first.
Yes, that's true.
So I think, yeah, he's a perfect authority on this particular topic, especially since these are black males who look up to him.
Damaris Montanez does point out pretty much what you just said. Is this really about his time as president, or the fact that he's a black man with black man's experience.
Mm.
So,
Like that.
You know
I mean,
what? I'm gonna go the other way and say that it really has more to do with he was the president. You know, he has the negotiation skills. He understands the politics of optics. Okay. He understands contracts. Okay. Legalities. I think that's really what it was. And this was someone that they could trust. This was a person of supreme authority that they
Because
could go to.
because LeBron went to the White House when, Obama was in office. So
ooh.
So, just to give briefly my quick 2 cents. So, I think it was a great thing that they reached out to Obama, and that he was willing to assist with that. I think that, as you know, he's proved as president of the United States, that he understands these type of conflicts, these type of issues, and he has a pulse on America, which is important because we know that the current president does not, and so it's good to. And I think I find it was a good thing because it kind of promotes the fact, you're able to see the disparity between the former president and the current president. It's like you're able to see it clear as day. That
Like mirror.
right. If you look at the two, you can't even address anything like that because even if you look in the RNC, they never talked about the things that were going on. Nothing.
And I truly believe, Neo, that if they went to Obama and he believed that they were in the wrong,
Mhm. I
he
think
would
I
advise
agree with you.
as well. I think he would have been honest.
Mhm.
I think he would have given them the proper advice on how to correct themselves and deal with the situation.
Yep. A lot of the comments online. Did you want to go through those, Jan?
Yeah, Jacqueline Robinson, he and AG Holder put some measures in place with consent decrees for various police departments. Then that evil elf, Jeff Sessions, came along and got rid of the consent decrees and other measures holding police departments accountable. Mike Winter, there were multiple courses of study on collective bargaining, alternative dispute resolution, and practical classes on those topics at Duke. I would imagine that Harvard has similar course offerings. Being a president of the U.S. would also be 8 years of experience in collective bargaining. Darian Winter, they are not politicians. Moreover, he ran the executive branch of government effectively. Seek him for advice, both and not or either or. Rubka, Antifa and hate groups probably call Trump for advice, I'm sure. And Chris Newell, Obama's the first president b-ball player. I'm not shocked pro players might ask him for advice. Wrong, Christopher. It was indeed George Washington. He could take the ball down. Never mind.
What?
All right. All right. So there's one thing I did want to just show everyone real quick before we go down. Close out because there was this post that I put up a while back, and I only want to spend like 2 minutes at most on this. A post that I put up a while back, and it was an image, and it's an image of two police officers pointing their guns at a black kid riding a bike, while in the background you see, similar to what happened with Arbery, you have a white man with a MAGA cap dragging, looks like a black person by the legs. So basically, they have their attention pointed at the child as opposed to the one clearly doing a crime. So this showed up recently.
Yeah.
And this is showing police shooting someone in the back, a black man in the back, while we have the Kenosha protest shooter walking past them with a gun in his hand and blood on his feet. So, what are your impressions of this? Is this reality?
I want to know how many cartoons it's going to take for people to believe that this is a problem. Like, honestly, how many of these depictions is it going to take for people to at least stop and consider that there may be a problem? I can't tell you the number of justifications and reasons and excuses that I read online about this freaking punk, this 17-year-old piece of crap, all right, and why he had to do it. You have a Christian organization raising over $100,000 for his freaking legal defense. What the heck man. And then people wonder why I walked away from the church. Listen, hypocrisy, ignorance, and total BS. That's all I can say. That's all I can say.
Lizzie, real quick.
What did Childish Gambino say? This is America. That is America. That's the America that we live in. That is our reality. Like Ziza just said, when you have a religious organization who is willing to back a 17-year-old kid who had no right to be there, first and foremost, traveled from a different state, armed himself, was out after curfew, shooting people, and the police just drove by. That's where we are in America. And so I think these are perfect cartoons to illustrate the struggle, to illustrate what we are going through at this point in 2020.
Jam.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's not too much I can add to that. It's straightforward, and it's always the same thing. I don't know if there is a limit there, Z. Like I look at one of our high school friends' posts, and he's like, "This is the reason why I don't believe that Black matters nonsense." And
Richard, who said that?
I'm not going.
He's calling names. Oh, she's just calling people out. Oh wow.
I was trying to tap it out more.
Whoa. She's rolling hard today.
My point is though, like they cite one thing that happened, and you get incident after incident after incident after incident times a million, and they're still like, no, he was wearing that one guy, he was wrong, and it's just an inability and an unwillingness to understand. Yeah. That's where we are. Like that is who we're voting
against. And whataboutism.
Yeah.
There's a lot of whataboutism that's spreading around a lot. We need to find a vaccine for that.
Yep. All right, guys. That's our hot topics for today. That was a great hot topics.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
Now don't leave us because we do have our game show today.
Don't ask me to play no games. I'm not here for your nonsense. Okay? I'm not here for these shenanigans. I'm not here for it.
All right. Well, you're lucky. You're lucky today. You're lucky today. No scoring. What?
Hey, what?
Or losing.
Hey, see, what letter is this?
You know what? I got you. You know what? Don't make me get my husband on you.
Ooh. So today's game, we're just going to be asking questions. I'm going to do a round robin and ask one question at a time. There's no scoreboard. All we're doing is answering questions, and the most interesting answers. Oh, sure. The most interesting answers wins the game. All right. So, for example, who's your favorite living author? We'll go with Lizzie.
My favorite living author, I have two. I have Stephen King, obviously, Jam, and then probably living, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Joyce Carol Oates.
Okay.
Carol
Jam.
Oates.
Is it better to protect kids from failure or let them fail, and why?
Oh, let them fail. Because no one wins all the time. And if that first loss breaks them after 10 BS like wins, then they're just broken. You got to learn. You win it, you lose it. I'm here to support you.
Doesn't it depend on the failure, though?
No, so. It's like when they tell you to choose one author and you choose two, that's a fail.
All right, Z. Z.
Oh my God, yo, I think someone's cruising for cruisins.
What was the greatest thing you ever learned from a dream? Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
Ooh, thank God you ain't asked me that.
I know, that's tough. I don't.
Okay. And you asked this at the most appropriate time.
Okay.
The most important thing or the greatest thing was to just always, that family is family, and always forgive your sister, no matter what.
Oh.
Stick together. That came to me in a dream.
I love that.
My sisters know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Z won that round.
Wait, what
depends on the sister. And I'm going to just leave it.
I'm giving that round to Z.
I'm not talking about Jacqueline Robinson, but she knows it depends on the sister. I'll leave it at that.
So,
I always got to forgive the
So, Lizzie, what weird characteristics of yourself do you hide most often?
Weird. I cry a lot.
Okay.
I mean, you guys got a little bit of that, a couple of weeks ago. But people think I have like this really hard exterior, which I do, very opinionated, very in your face. But I cry a lot. I'm very sensitive, and I take things personally, and that's why I'm so damn petty. I will defend
Yeah. No comments. I got no comments on that one. Jam. Is cheerleading a sport? Why or why not?
Ooh.
Yes, cheerleading is a sport because you have to jump and hold people and do stuff that requires energy.
Okay.
Is it a sport I would watch? Depends on my age and what age I'm watching. So I like when I was in high school.
Okay.
I enjoyed watching cheerleader. Now that I'm an older man, no.
Okay. All right. Z, what emojis can you not live without?
The crying face and the.
Is that?
All right. I'm sorry, but Z won that round too, so Z wins the game because that was funny. I'm sorry, but Z won that game, so I'm sorry about that. That was a good one. Good job, Z.
Thank you.
Cheerleaders, boo hit.
All right, guys, and that's all the time we have for today. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining us. We hope you maybe learned something or gained a new perspective and even got something off your chest if you needed to. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe at TLS Live Show and www.tlslive.show. You can also follow us at truthliveshenanigans.com. Lizzie keeps our Facebook page popping, so make sure you get on that. And on Wednesday, we'll have a new show that'll be Lizzie, Rabi, East, and myself, so make sure you're there. Also, next Sunday, we'll be having Samson McCormick, a comedian. Jam, do you want to quickly tell us who Samson is?
Samson is a world-renowned comedian, which is great because he got his start here in the DC area. If you guys have been around this last year, pre-COVID, he was at the Howard Theater as well. He is a LGBTQ comedian. I'll let him tell you the rest next week. He's very excited
funny.
to be here.
He's funny.
And he's hilarious.
All right, Z, you get the final thought for today. So what's your final thought?
My final thought is to be kind to one another and stop assuming horrible things about other people that you don't know. Send out blessings and love to people.
Thank you, Z. It's a wonderful thought. Have a great time, guys. Thank you for joining us.